Hey guys, Angel here. So excited about today's video. I know so many people ask me, Angel, you talk about how you failed the 9th grade 3 times, never got a high school diploma, never got your GED. Why did you quit school and what is it that you do now? And I'm going to tell you. This video could be under 30 seconds because I'm about to tell you why I quit school, but then I'm going to give you I'm going to explain the details of what happened because I know how nosy we are and we want to know the in-between and all of that stuff. So the reason why I quit school is as simple as this. School is not for everybody. Period. And I found out at a young age that I don't like school. I didn't like the classes that they were teaching. When I was in the classroom, physically I was there, mentally I was somewhere else. I just didn't like school. And so I quit. So that's the short of it. School was not for me. School is not for everybody. It wasn't for me. So I left. Okay, so now let me give you the behind the scenes. So I grew up in a household where school was not a big deal. Like traditional education was not talked about in my household. Like it wasn't like there were no conversations to say once you graduate high school or once you get into high school, that's mainly when you start looking for colleges. Like we didn't look for no colleges. We didn't talk about school. If I got a D on my report card, I remember there were times when my mother would put that up on the refrigerator. Like we were pumped that I got a D because school just was not my thing and I did not like it. And so because school was not a big deal in my household, it was no big deal for when I did want to quit school for me to go to my mother and say, I'm done with this. She was like, okay. And why was she okay with it? Because my mother didn't graduate high school either. And so all I remember growing up from being a young adult is seeing my mother being an entrepreneur. And she's always had nice things. We've always lived in a nice house and we were never starving. And once I got a little bit older as a young adult, she never had a traditional job. I've always seen her being an entrepreneur. So subconsciously, I just picked that up. And then I remember just thinking to myself, it never made sense to me to go to a job and sit there and every 60 minutes, that job is only going to pay me $10 for every 60 minutes or $12 for every 60 minutes. Like that never, like deep down inside, I always felt like there was I had more value than $10 an hour. And so when you guys know that I was a teenage pregnancy, after I had my daughter, I stayed home with her. I was on welfare. If you guys don't know that story, it's back here in one of my videos somewhere. Go find it. Started my business when I was on welfare, just doing things that I love to do. You guys know one of my most watched videos is my cleaning business that I once had. And so I just started doing those things that I liked to do and I attached a dollar sign to it. And I never thought like, well, I like cleaning, let me go work for Mary Maids or let me go work for another local cleaning company. It was always, I like cleaning, so I'm going to go and say, I'll clean your house and I'm going to tell you how much I'm going to charge for it. It's just always been like that. And so like I said, in my household, traditional education was not a big deal for us. It wasn't a conversation that we held. So for me to drop out of school and start my own thing was not anything in my household that people were like, oh my God, but you need to go to school. You need to get that degree and get that good government job. And we're not going to talk about the fact that the government shut down and all that stuff. That's another video for another day. So now what I do for a living, a lot of you guys ask me that and I'm like, am I not clear in what I do for a living? I get so many people that say, Angel, what do you do now? So now I'm a coach, I'm an author, I'm a speaker. I help people do exactly what it is that I'm doing. So I've had clients say to me before that, Angel, are you sure you don't want to go back to school and get your degree? How are you going to tell your children the importance of education? How are you going to guide them somewhere that you yourself have never been? And I'm like, perhaps I'm not going to be the one that guides them. And my children are fine. Pause. One of my daughters graduated high school. She's doing very well for herself. My other daughter, straight A student, honor roll. She's the president, 2nd year in a row of her class. And you guys, I totally forgot to mention that my youngest daughter just wrote her first book OMG. Say hi to my friend Jenny back there. All right, you guys, back to the real video. But my daughter just wrote her first book, so isn't that freaking exciting? Because I'm a high school dropout does not mean that my kids are going to drop out of school, but if they wanted to, and I know I'm gonna make somebody mad, but if my daughter that's still in school came to me and she was like, you know what, I am like all the way done with this, I would be like, girl, I've been waiting for you to say that since you stepped foot in the traditional education system. So school, traditional learning has never been a big deal for me. However, as much as I stand on traditional education and me not being a thing, I am huge on self-education. Like huge on self-education. I have literally, for some of you guys that have gone through college, I've spent that much in books and courses. So to say that I really don't have a college degree is just because nobody has recognized the studies that I've done. But it is almost the same as or equivalent to what some of you guys have done in your studies as well. So don't let anybody tell you guys like you gotta go to school and you have to get this good education. If your heart's desire, if what God is calling you to do does not require that traditional way of doing it, then by all means, go do your own thing. We're in 2019. Are you kidding me? People are making a living off of their phone, and you're concerned about getting a traditional education? Like, I've thought that traditional stuff was gone out the window, except for when it comes to the Bible. Y'all know I will always stand on that. I told you I'm be that old black lady sitting in my rocking chair telling all y'all young girls to wait until you're married to have sex. But as far as education, if you have a passion to help the young girls in your neighborhood and you just feel like, oh my God, I at least don't I have to get an associate's degree or a master's degree or psychology degree or something? Really? Do you really need a psychology degree to help somebody in your neighborhood because the young girl perhaps got touched by her dad or molested by a cousin and you went through the same thing and now she comes to you all the time? Do you really want to go through 4 years of school just so you can come back and help her with your story? Does that, I know I ain't failed, I know I didn't pass the high school and all of that, and I know I failed the 9th grade 3 times, but to me, that just doesn't add up. Guys, so that is it. I love you guys from the bottom to the top, and do not forget to connect with me on my other social media platform. If you guys are not connected to me on Instagram, now would be a really good time to do so. Okay, all right, you guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. And now I can pull the hair off, let these girls go, take these clothes off, boom! Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hey, you're making my legs ashy.